Hey everybody, welcome out to the backyard today. We're going to do something different for you. I don't know if this is actually a recipe or a concoction I came up with years ago. What are we going to do for you is pineapple fries. You heard me right. Pineapple fried up. But what we're doing today is we're doing the prep work. This has to marinate overnight after we cut it up in Fireball. Now, folks, if y'all don't know what Fireball is, it is a cinnamon whiskey. Uh, Typically, it needs to be really, really cold if you're going to drink it. But we're going to cut this up into wedge-shaped pieces, and we're going to marinate it overnight in Fireball, and then we're going to deep fry it. After we deep fry it, we're going to cover it with brown sugar and a little cinnamon. Hang around. It's a different one. So what we're going to do is this pineapple we bought about a week ago was really, really green, folks. And we had it kind of getting ripe. The best way that I have found to determine if a pineapple is ripe is if you can grab one of these stems and it pulls out cleanly, real easy. That's a good indication your pineapple is ripe. Now we're going to prep this pineapple up and see if we can come up with some pineapple fries for you. All right, everybody, you saw that we kind of peeled this. We're not going to be perfect on this. We're going to deep fry it, remember? And that's the strange part. I'm trying to remember before we started doing this video if this was actually a recipe we saw somewhere or what. But from what I was able to remember, we saw a recipe where a man was marinating pineapple in Fireball and using it for barbecuing purposes. And we were out cooking one day on the wagon, I think for a birthday party, and we were going to be doing something, and we had some leftover pineapple, and we decided that we were going to toss it off in the deep fryer after we did the french fries. And it kind of came up with that. Now we're going to do this in some wedge shape for you, and we're going to do this kind of small wedge shape. All right, folks, you saw that we went through that pineapple. It's important to remove the core. I call this fries, but I don't know that there's a conventional way to do this dish. So these are going to be more like this type shape right there. You can try to cut them in half. These will shrink. There's a tremendous amount of water content in the pineapple. And when you throw this off in hot grease, it's really going to go. Okay, like I said, there's a lot of water content in these, and we're going to add some water to it. This is definitely a dish you want to do outside, because when you throw this in the fryer, it's going to really, really talk to you. We get our Fireball out here, and this is not a very expensive liquor, but kind of a unique liquor. I like bourbon and scotch, and when you're a bourbon and scotch guy, Fireball's not really your thing, but it's excellent seasoning. And yes, folks, I put the whole thing in there because it is very, very important that this pineapple stays in this liquid overnight. Seal it up in a bag. Now you can see we've got this. It's going to be submerged in this liquid all night. We're going to flip this over periodically like this. We're going to probably take just a little bit of air out of here if we can. Now, I'm going to tell you that everybody goes, well, we're going to be wasting this Fireball. No, Fireball with pineapple flavor in it is not a bad thing. Because there's no meat, and it's just the pineapple juice that's going to be in this Fireball, you can take that out. You can drink it. I guarantee you. I will, and I'll do it on video for you. So we're going to let this marinate overnight, and we're going to continue to spend the evening in our very casual attire, folks. I usually put a long sleeve shirt, try to look nice for you. I didn't today because this is all we're doing, and I got pineapple stuff all over. We'll come back tomorrow and show you how to fry these up. Hey folks, continuing our casual video for you of the pineapple fries. Here's our pineapple that is soaked in the Fireball overnight. Now we're going to take a pair of tongs and we're going to put this in this strainer on this stool here, but we're going to try to reserve this liquid because, as I told you in the video yesterday, that this liquid doesn't have to go to waste. All right, folks, here we have our liquid reserved off in this bag, and I have this. I'm going to show you something here in a minute, folks. We're going to get our stool moved over here closer, and we're going to fry this up. All right, here we go, folks. We got this little spider thing, and we've got some of this in here. Now, I'm telling you, do this outside. If you're on gas, you're on wood, whatever you are, because this is going to kick back on you. Now look at that. That's why I tell you, if you're doing this in the house, you're going to make a mess. I guarantee it. There's a lot of liquid in these. Here we go, folks. These things are frying up. We had oil in here, and I used a thermometer, so I know the numbers I would give you would be correct. We're about 375 and increasing. Now, I'm over a live fire. I can't control my knob. Now, we got these in here. They're just now beginning to float. These won't be super crispy necessarily like a French fry, but they'll be close. A lot of this water starting to get out of these. These things are getting real buoyant in here, and you can see they're starting to get a little color to them. We're getting ready. We got some paper towels on this platter. We're going to be dipping these out here. Now, we're going to do a little surprise for you. We're going to add something to this video that was not necessarily in the title, but we're going to throw a little surprise in here. Now, again, these are going to be a little, they're not going to be as firm as a French fry, okay? You can fry them till they're dark if you want, but if you over fry them, they have a tendency to get a little tough. We have some little store-bought seasoning. It's called Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's a little cinnamon and brown sugar. We're kind of going to put these on here. Sprinkle them a fairly decent amount and toss them around, and we'll give them one more shot. And then we're going to go start in here and show you a little something extra we're going to put in there. All right, folks. You know, we're going to shift off gears a little bit and do one little thing we're going to add to this while these cool down. Because if I bit into that right now, ooh, I would not like it. You know how when you do a salad, you're always looking for croutons, and people get tired of croutons and all the things you want to add crunch to a meal, not just a salad, but on any meal. What I have in here is a can of garbanzo beans. All right, chickpeas, whatever you want to call them. All right. We're going to attempt to get this open. It's a little simple pull tab. Shouldn't be a big issue, right? It is. All right, we're going to pour this liquid out. As we do, we're outside. And all we're going to do with these garbanzo beans is put them in our oil. Now, we've got to be careful how we do that. We're going to fry them up. It's not going to take very long, but you'll see what I'm talking about when we get this done. Okay, folks, here's our garbanzo beans in here, and you can see they're starting to already float, and they haven't been in here very long. We didn't edit that out in this video, so it's in there. You can see the amount of liquid still coming out of these beans, and very few of them are floating. The more they float, the lighter they get, the less liquid's in there. Garbanzo beans, about half of them are starting to float. They're getting a little color on them. And again, I'm telling you, this is something to add a crunch factor to a lot of different dishes. You can use these in a salad. You can use them. We've even put them on a pasta. Sometimes, depending on the flavor of the pasta, we put these on there. Our frying's starting to calm down. These are all beginning to start to float. And again, this is a little something we thought we wasn't going to waste this grease. While we were here with y'all, we figured we'd just add a little something to it to make good use of the oil. This is a 14-inch oven for you Dutch oven folks that are out there. I've got 1 gallon of peanut oil in there, which is bringing this up about 1/3 of the height of this oven. The reason is I don't want this grease too close to the top. One, not just the stuff you put in there displacing the oil, but the action of it boiling with something that's that wet, like those fries were, it would have a tendency to boil out, which is not good if you're on a fire. All right, these garbanzo beans are floating up. Get them out here on some paper. Now you can salt and pepper these, or a little Italian seasoning, whatever you would want to put on these, depending on the dish you're going to be adding these to. These have a very light texture. And for you older folks that are out there, because I don't even know if this is a cereal on the market today, but remember there used to be Cocoa Puffs. Remember what Cocoa Puffs? Well, these garbanzo beans, after you fry them, will have the texture of a Cocoa Puff. Now, folks, you can see our garbanzo beans. They're really, really light, they're really crunchy, and they're really, really hot. But you can salt and pepper these. Again, you can flavor them however you want. They will resemble a Cocoa Puff. That was hot. Come back and let that cool off, and I'll show you something different about them. Here's our pineapple fries. How about that, folks? We'll get one of these. See how they're golden and still hot. I can't describe it. I don't know how to describe it. It's a very, very unique flavor. We got our liquid pineapple juice, basically, in Fireball. Now, you marinate meat in the marinade, you won't want to drink the marinade. But when something like this, everything in there is edible, just fine. Put a little bit of this in a glass. If I can do this without making a big mess. Cheers, folks. Pineapple Fireball. That has got a beautiful flavor. And I'm not a Fireball fan. I'm a bourbon and Scotch guy. All right. I'm going to attempt one of these little beans. And they just bust in your mouth like a Cocoa Puff or like Captain Crunch cereal or any of that type of stuff like that. They're really, really light, really airy, and they're just wonderful as a texture to a salad. Anything that you want to add a little texture to, the flavor of the garbanzo bean changes. You get just a little char flavor to the bean, so it's not that hummus type flavor that you usually get when you eat a bean if it's raw. So folks, we did two things for you in the deep Dutch oven full of oil: pineapple fries and garbanzo beans. Not a meal, but two things that you can add this to a burger and all your friends would love it. I did this one time with pineapple rings. I'm going to throw this in there. I took pineapple rings out of a can. They don't work as good. They're a little big. You need to cut them into pieces like that, but I'm telling you right here, I'm not a big sweet person. I'll eat this whole plate if you're not careful. So folks, as we do everything, we tell you thank you. From the bottom of our heart, thank you for watching us and all that you do. Folks, we're going to get things wind down on this afternoon, and I'm probably going to get me a little more Fireball. Enjoy your food.